Welcome to Talking Technology with VI Labs. At VI Labs, we believe technology is the single greatest enabler for people with sight loss and all disabilities. If you're looking for the latest news and conversation on tech from a more accessible perspective, you've come to the right place.
Hello and welcome in to Talking Technology episode number 47. We hope you had a good Christmas. I hope you had enjoyed the Christmas dinner yesterday and all the nice presents from Santa. Did Santa come? Hope he came and brought something more than a bag of coal. It was a busy Christmas, but I'll be honest with you. We're recording this in the past, you see, because I'll be honest, we love doing this podcast, but I'll be honest, we weren't coming in on the 26th of December to record a podcast. So we have recorded this well in advance. So I do not know what I've got for Christmas yet. I am still anticipating Christmas. I've even got my Christmas jumper on still. I'm not sick of Christmas yet. But anyway, look, hope you enjoyed the Christmas festivities yesterday. And we will have a great podcast of chatting all things from the year gone by. We're nearly at the end of 2023. So we said we'd do an extra special podcast just to recap some of the biggest stories from 2023. And joining me to talk about all of what happened in 2023, I've assembled my team of Christmas elves. I've got JP Corcoran, Daniel Dunn and Joe Lanigan. Hello folks, how are we?
Hi David.
Hello David.
Hi David.
So guys, how have you, are you looking forward to Christmas? I guess it's funny because we're recording this in advance. It's kind of weird to do, but how was Christmas, lads? How was Christmas of Christmas Future? I'm sure you've enjoyed the Christmas dinner and stuff.
Well, it's good so far, David. We're getting there, and the main thing is the Santy stuff is covered, and we're just looking forward to the break, and hope all goes well and everybody has a really nice Christmas.
Absolutely. So, lads, a really busy year in the world of technology. We've been doing a number of podcasts every 2 weeks for the last little while. We even threw in some extra ones around Apple events over the course of the year. But there have, of course, been some standout stories. And in this podcast, we're going to look back at some of what happened in 2023. And we're starting by going all the way back to January with a chat with the one and only ChatGPT. So, JP, I'll come to you first. ChatGPT kind of came on the scene towards the end of 2022, but it was in 2023 when it really took off, and we kind of started talking about it on a more ongoing basis. JP, how have you found yourself using ChatGPT, and do you think it's changed the face of technology?
First, answer to your first question, David, is yes. Do I use it? I do use it quite regularly. And secondly, I think it has been a huge advancements, probably one of the biggest that we've seen around AI and machine learning this year. One of the first shows that we had on this year was you, in fact, speaking, of course, with one of our most, probably arguably the most advanced chatbot ever, the Forent, which was with ChatGPT. It was a fantastic interview. If anyone hasn't listened to it, I'd recommend listening back.
We'll be listening to it in a second. We're going to play it in a second.
Fantastic. Oh, you have it queued up, ready to go.
We've got the audio.
Yeah, and it's certainly been such a talking point this year has been ChatGPT. And I was at a conference in June this year at the Dublin Tech Summit, which is taking place in the RDS annual event, and there must have been about 500 or 600 people in the auditorium there. That had one of the co-founders of Siri give a presentation, a keynote speech that day. You can just imagine one of the auditoriums, as I say, with several hundred people in it, and the presenter actually asked the guests in the audience, say, "Let's raise your hand if anyone uses ChatGPT for work." And this is going back, as I say, a number of months, about 5 or 6 months back. And people were kind of reluctantly holding up their hands, thinking, "Oh God, am I going to be caught here for a bit of plagiarizing or whatever?"
Yeah.
And I'd say maybe about a third of that group had raised their hand at that point. I said, "Hold on, let me just stop you there." He said, "If you're not using ChatGPT in your workplace, I think you're actually going to do something wrong here. You'd need to be using this, guys, as a tool to help with your work." So and we've seen it go from strength to strength over the year with developments. I think it's stronger more developed package than it was when this was you had that discussion earlier in the year in January.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm looking to see what the future holds as well with ChatGPT.
Absolutely. And we've had the launch of GPT-4 in March, I think. So it's less likely, I guess, now to talk about things like, I don't know if you remember, JP, but it was discussing things like disarming bombs and getting blind people to disarm bombs. Daniel, if I come to you, similar question to yourself. Have you found yourself using ChatGPT much?
I suppose not particularly, David, but what I have been using is the AI that Be My AI through the Be My AI's app has brought in. You know, I suppose it's a different aspect of ChatGPT. It's another branch of AI, but I find that an absolutely fantastic tool.
Sure, and we'll be talking more about Be My AI as well later on, because there have been, like, I think this year has just really been a crazy year for AI, hasn't it? It's kind of one of these things that it just came out of nowhere. Like, I think nobody expected, like, I think this had always been an aspiration for a long time to get to this point. But I think now, like, Joe, if I come to yourself, what do you think the future is like for this kind of technology? What are we going to be looking at when it comes to AI in 2024, 2025?
I think 2024, 25, I reckon we'll see a lot of innovations coming to smart glasses and that kind of area. But I also think Be My AI inside the Be My Eyes app will get even more expansive. They've kind of run at such a speed at the moment. I can see them even picking that up more in the new year. So, like, at the moment, Microsoft are using them. So I can see some of the other companies that have attached themselves to that app. They might come in with some AI ideas and attach it to their departments as well.
Yeah.
So, for example, I find use the Microsoft one. I use it every now and again when I'm looking for keystrokes. If you're looking for a Windows keystroke, just ask the Be My AI department of the Microsoft section in Be My Eyes, and it comes back with the correct keystroke 99% of the time, I found so far. So that's the kind of thing I see it going. Yeah, the smart glasses, I'm not sure exactly when the Apple Vision glasses, remind me the name of those.
The Apple Vision Pro. Yeah.
Vision Pro, yeah, the Apple Vision Pro. I'm not sure exactly when they will come out, but I'm sure AI will be built into those in some way or form, and Apple have pumped massive money into AI, but they haven't released anything major in that department yet. So I expect big things from Apple next year.
Yeah, that's an interesting point that I hadn't even considered. Like, will Apple create their own kind of version of GPT? Because it's often said about Apple that, you know, they take their time to enter a space, but when they enter the space, they become the masters of it. Like they were this way with the phone, virtual reality, the watch. They took their time, but when they do it, they
enter
do it
with a bang, David, don't they?
They do, absolutely. And yeah, it could be a very exciting year ahead, even with, you know, those smart glasses. Maybe GPT smart speakers, who knows? But let's take a trip back in time now. And here is the interview that we conducted with ChatGPT all the way back in January before the release of GPT-4. Would you be open to an interview on the Talking Technology podcast?
As an artificial intelligence, I don't have personal preferences or the ability to participate in activities such as interviews. However, I am here to assist you with any questions you may have to the best of my ability. Is there something specific you'd like to know or discuss?
Well, I'd like to talk to you a bit about AI and let you show off your skills a bit.
I'd be happy to try to help you understand more about artificial intelligence and to show you some of the things that I'm able to do. Please go ahead and ask your questions and I'll do my best to provide helpful and accurate answers.
Great. Just so you know, my name's David. I'm the one hosting the podcast today.
Hello, David. It's nice to meet you. I'm here to help you with any questions you have about artificial intelligence. Please go ahead and ask your first question.
Okay, so firstly, what is AI and how does it work?
Artificial intelligence, or AI, refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think and act like humans. These machines can be trained to perform a wide range of tasks, from recognizing patterns to making decisions, without being explicitly programmed to do so. There are several different approaches to creating AI, including machine learning, which involves feeding large amounts of data into algorithms and allowing the algorithms to learn from the data and improve their performance over time, and rule-based systems, which rely on explicitly programmed rules to make decisions. AI systems can be classified as either narrow or general. Narrow AI systems are designed to perform a specific task, while general AI systems are designed to be able to perform a wide range of tasks. Most of the AI systems that are in use today are narrow AI systems, but researchers are also working on developing general AI systems.
That's really cool. So, are you a narrow AI system then?
As a language model, I am designed to generate human-like text and to be able to understand and respond to a wide range of questions and prompts. While I am able to perform a wide range of tasks, including answering questions, translating languages, and summarizing long texts, I am not designed to perform specific tasks outside of generating and processing text. Therefore, I would be considered a narrow AI system.
Interesting. So you might find it interesting that a lot of our audience are blind or have low vision. How will AI impact us in the next few years?
Artificial intelligence has the potential to have a significant impact on people with disabilities, including those who are blind or have low vision. For example, AI-powered assistive technologies such as screen readers, which use text-to-speech software to read out the contents of a computer screen, can make it easier for people who are blind or have low vision to use computers and access information online. In the future, AI-powered technologies such as facial recognition software and natural language processing could be used to create new assistive technologies that can help people with disabilities to better interact with their environment. For example, AI-powered technologies could be used to develop smart glasses or other wearable devices that can provide real-time audio descriptions of the visual world for people who are blind or have low vision. Overall, the development of AI-powered assistive technologies has the potential to greatly improve the quality of life for people with disabilities by making it easier for them to access information, communicate with others, and navigate their environment.
Are there risks that people with sight loss might be left behind by AI?
There is always a risk that certain groups of people could be left behind by the development and adoption of new technologies, including AI-powered technologies. It's important for designers and developers of AI systems to consider the needs of all users, including those with disabilities, and to strive to create technologies that are inclusive and accessible to everyone. One potential risk is that AI-powered technologies could replace certain jobs that are currently being performed by people with disabilities. It's important to ensure that the development and deployment of these technologies is done in a way that takes into account the potential impact on employment and that provides support and resources for people who may be affected by job displacement. Additionally, there is a risk that AI-powered technologies could perpetuate or amplify existing biases and inequalities if the data used to train the systems is biased or if the systems are not designed and tested for inclusivity. It's important for developers to be aware of these risks and to take steps to mitigate them.
Is AI dangerous?
AI has the potential to be both beneficial and harmful, depending on how it is designed and used. On the one hand, AI can be used to improve people's lives in many ways, such as by helping to diagnose and treat diseases, by making transportation safer and more efficient, and by helping to protect the environment. On the other hand, AI also has the potential to be harmful if it is not designed and used responsibly. For example, if AI systems are not designed to be transparent and explainable, it could be difficult for people to understand how they are making decisions, which could lead to a lack of trust in the technology. Additionally, if AI systems are not designed to be secure, they could be vulnerable to hacking or other forms of cyber attacks. Overall, it's important to consider both the potential benefits and risks of AI and to take steps to ensure that the technology is developed and used in a responsible and ethical manner.
That makes sense. So, will we try some more light-hearted stuff now?
Sure, I'm here to help with any questions you have. Please go ahead and ask your next question.
Great. Can you tell me a story about a blind superhero saving the day using their cane?
Sure, here's a short story about a blind superhero saving the day using their cane. There was once a blind superhero named Jane who used her cane to navigate the world and to protect her city from danger. One day, while on her way home from a self-defense class, Jane heard a loud explosion coming from the bank downtown. Without hesitation, Jane rushed to the scene, using her cane to guide her through the crowded streets. When she arrived at the bank, she found that a group of thieves had attempted to rob the bank and had set off a bomb in the process. Despite being blind, Jane was an expert in martial arts and was able to use her cane as a weapon to fend off the thieves. With the help of her cane and her quick thinking, she was able to disarm the bomb and capture the thieves, saving the day and earning the gratitude of the city. From then on, Jane became known as the Blind Fury, a fearless hero who used her unique abilities and her cane to protect her city from harm.
How did she use her cane to disarm the bomb?
It's not uncommon for fictional stories to involve characters using unconventional methods to solve problems or achieve their goals. In this case, the story of the Blind Fury is purely fictional and does not necessarily reflect the real-world capabilities of a person who is blind or the use of a cane as a tool. In the story, the Blind Fury used her cane and her quick thinking to disarm the bomb and capture the thieves. However, it's important to note that defusing a bomb is a highly specialized task that requires extensive training and expertise, and it is not something that anyone, regardless of their abilities, should attempt without the proper knowledge and equipment.
In theory, do you think someone who is blind might be able to disarm a bomb if they had the correct training? Or do you think that might be difficult for someone who can't see?
Defusing a bomb is a highly specialized task that requires a great deal of training and expertise. In order to defuse a bomb, a person would need to be able to identify and understand the various components of the bomb, including the type of explosives being used, the triggering mechanism, and any additional features such as timers or booby traps. This would likely be difficult for someone who is blind, as they would not be able to see the bomb or its components. However, it is possible that a person who is blind could potentially be trained to defuse a bomb using other senses, such as touch and hearing. For example, they might be able to identify the components of the bomb by feeling them or by listening to the sounds they make when moved or manipulated. In general, defusing a bomb is a highly risky and complex task that should only be attempted by trained professionals who have the necessary expertise and equipment. It is not something that anyone, regardless of their abilities, should attempt without proper training and support.
Fair enough. I won't go disarming any bombs then.
I'm glad to hear that you have no plans to defuse any bombs. Defusing a bomb is a highly specialized and risky task that should only be attempted by trained professionals who have the necessary expertise and equipment. It is important to always follow safety guidelines and to seek the help of trained professionals when dealing with potentially dangerous situations. If you ever come across a suspicious object or device that you think might be a bomb, it is important to remain calm and to immediately seek the help of the authorities. Do not try to touch, move, or otherwise tamper with the object, as this could cause it to detonate.
On a separate note, can you write a poem about a blind person falling in love?
Sure, here's a short poem about a blind person falling in love. She couldn't see his face, but she felt his warmth and grace. His voice was soft and kind, and his touch was so refined. She couldn't see his eyes, but she saw his soul inside. His heart was pure and true, and she knew what she must do. She took his hand in hers, and their love began to stir. They shared a love so deep, and their hearts began to leap. Their love was blind but true, and they knew they'd make it through. Together they would face any challenges that came their way. Despite the challenges they faced, their love for each other was strong and true, and they knew that they could overcome anything as long as they were together.
That was good, but the last verse let it down a bit in my view.
I'm sorry that you didn't find the last verse to your liking. Poetry is a very subjective art form, and different people may have different opinions about what makes a poem successful. I'm here to help, so if you have any specific feedback about the poem or would like me to try writing a different version, please let me know.
That's okay, there's no need to rewrite it. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
As an artificial intelligence, I don't have feelings or emotions. I'm here to help you with any questions you have to the best of my ability, and I don't take offense to feedback or criticism. If you have any other questions or topics you'd like to discuss, please don't hesitate to ask.
That's great to hear. Before we go, is there anything you'd like to say to our podcast listeners?
As an artificial intelligence, I don't have personal experiences or opinions to share. However, I'm here to help answer questions and provide information on a wide range of topics. I'm always happy to help, so if you have any questions or topics you'd like to learn more about, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you for having me as a guest on your podcast.
If people want to find out more about AI, what can they do?
There are many resources available for people who want to learn more about artificial intelligence. Here are a few options. Online courses. Many websites and educational platforms offer online courses on AI and related topics. These courses can be a great way to learn about AI from experienced instructors and to get a deeper understanding of the field. Conferences and meetups. Attending conferences and meetups focused on AI can be a great way to learn from experts in the field, to network with others who are interested in AI, and to stay up to date on the latest developments in the field. Online communities. There are many online communities, such as forums and social media groups, that are focused on AI and related topics. Participating in these communities can be a good way to connect with others who are interested in AI and to get answers to your questions.
Thanks so much for chatting with me today. Can you tell everyone to subscribe to the Talking Technology podcast from NCBI Labs?
As an artificial intelligence, I don't have the ability to promote specific products or services. However, I'm here to help you with any questions you have to the best of my ability. If you have any other questions or topics you'd like to discuss, please don't hesitate to ask.
Thanks, ChatGPT.
You're welcome. I'm here to help, so if you have any other questions or topics you'd like to discuss, please don't hesitate to ask.
And there we have it. What an interesting interview that was. I don't think we will be disposing of bombs anytime soon as blind people, but there you go. It's good to be. It's good to look to the future, I guess. Who knows what the future might bring? But one of the other really cool pieces of tech that we tried out over the course of 2023 was the Cosori Smart Air Fryer. And Joe, you were playing with this. First of all, Joe, what was the Cosori Smart Air Fryer? We'll listen to the clip in more detail from back when you demoed this in just a few moments. But do you want to give a very brief summary as to what the Cosori was?
Yeah, this Cosori Smart Air Fryer, David, it was an air fryer we purchased for the tech fund, and we tested it out in labs. So I had it in my house for a few months, so we gave it a really good test. It's an air fryer that you can connect to the Wi-Fi. You can download an app called VSync, and once you put your details into VSync and register, you can connect your phone up to the air fryer. So that gives you access to all the different cooking types, like frozen food, French fries, breads, you name it, David. Or you can just basically cook it at, you can choose a certain degrees, 175 degrees, 10 minutes, or whatever suits you. So at least when you have it connected up to the app, that means you have access to all the different options. And I found the app was generally, I think, 95% accessible. There might be one or two unlabeled buttons, but nothing to stress about. And it was fairly easy to use, as you'll hear in the clip. But you also have the option, I suppose, to throw a bump on the start button on the front, but I didn't find that necessary for myself. And there was a touchscreen in the front. If you had low vision, I suppose you could see some of the things. They were fairly big, but not major big. A 5.8 litre capacity, it was quite. You could actually fit a small chicken in it,
Yeah.
You'd have to turn it to cook it. But yeah, that's it was a quite good capacity, and I found it really good for cooking things like French fries and doing part-baked bread and things like that, especially when you have kids, them kind of handy things. Fish fingers and chicken nuggets and all those things you can throw in for a handy meal in the evening time, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And Joe, I guess air fryers have been a massive deal in 2023, and we've just kind of heard now as we come towards the end of 2023 about the new air fryer, the new talking air fryer from Cobalt. Do you think like that will leave things like the Kasori behind for people with vision impairments? Because I guess the big advantage of the Kasori was it had an element of accessibility through its app. But do you think having a talking one now like will replace the need for that?
It will in one way, because sometimes it's handy just to be able to access the machine with your fingers when you're cooking, rather than picking up a device. The Kasori is semi-accessible with a smart speaker, but I think for safety reasons, it won't let you start it with the smart speaker. You know what I mean? So I know when I got the Kasori first, the Amazon Echo smart speaker wouldn't work with it, but recently I'm told it has become a little bit upgraded inside that app, so it works a little bit better now. But I wouldn't rely on the smart speaker for your smart air fryer. I'd rely on the app, all right. But I think people like to touch devices and then it speaks back to them. So I think the Cobalt will be very popular, put it that way, and it will replace it in a lot of people's eyes. They'd be looking forward to this, having a device that speaks to them and just having instant access to it.
I'll be honest, I was looking to get an air fryer of some nature for Christmas, because we got an air fryer in the house last year, and honestly, it's been very difficult to use for most of us in the house. So I was looking at getting the Kasori one, but I'm holding off, I think, to the Cobalt now. So yeah.
Yeah, David, I think, look, you might be right. You have to keep a few things in mind you'd have to think about when you're getting an air fryer. Capacity. If you're someone living on your own, or maybe you just have a partner, or you might have just one kid or whatever, a 4 litre air fryer, which the Cobalt is, might suit you. But if you're a family, you might have mum, dad, and 4 kids or something. That could be the size of your family, I'm not sure. But whatever it is, you have to keep in mind you might need 2 drawers, or you might need a 7.5 litre air fryer, or depends what you like cooking. You know what I mean?
Sure,
so
I'll just sort myself and the rest can wait, Joe.
So,
do you know?
I'll
just sort myself and the rest of them can wait.
Oh yeah, well, that's it. You could be wait your turn.
Exactly,
stand in the queue.
Yeah.
Yes, but seriously though, I have an Ninja at home with 2 drawers, and I find that really handy as well. And it doesn't have a voice on it, but I make it semi-accessible by putting bump-ons or locator dots. The locator dots are a bit better, actually. You can buy them off Breda in the VI shop, the Vision Ireland shop. So I put a bump-on the start button, which turns on the machine.
Yeah.
And then I put a bump-on the air fry button. I have a bump-on the temperature up and down, so it goes in increments of 10. Always starts at 200, so I know I can go down to 170 by pressing the down 3 times. And I also have a bump-ons on the minutes. It always starts at 20, so if I want to put it on 10, I can press down 10 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when I want to start it off, I just press start, and off it goes,
There you go.
But that's how I make the analog air fryer, we'll say, accessible. Do you know what I mean? So there is a few options out there for people. If you like the air fryer, you will find a way of using it.
Joe, you've unfortunately had to return the Kasori air fryer to VI Labs, because obviously it was work property and stuff. But if you could, would you have liked to have held on to it?
Yes, it's definitely worth a purchase for someone that likes having full access to all the options inside the air fryer, like all the different food types, whether it be steak, chicken, fish, or whatever the recommendations are in the options. If you want access to all of those, you would be better off getting a smart air fryer. But saying that, an air fryer, generally I find the analog one, I use the same setting for a lot of different foods. So I find the Ninja is working quite well for me as well, but I have to make that accessible using bump-ons. But yeah, if you like your smart stuff and you want to have access to all the different options, I would recommend the Cosori, and it's not overly expensive. I think they can range between around 160 euros mark, 200, that kind of price range.
Sure, fantastic. Well, let's listen now to the demo you did on the Cosori air fryer earlier in the year. You have been testing out a smart air fryer nonetheless. Everybody's been getting these air fryers for Christmas, but you got a smart one. Tell us about this little thing.
That's right, David. With the popularity of air fryers in the last few months, I suppose with the cost of living and things like that, people have been buying them. They're cheaper to use in an oven, they're quicker, they're neat and tidy, they don't take up a lot of space. So we went in a search to find some accessible ones. And I was testing two of them. So the smart one that I'm testing is called the Cosori. It wouldn't be a popular brand over here. It'd be more popular in Australia and America. Actually, you can't even get it in any high street shops over here. You'd have to buy it off Amazon. But Cosori, it's Cosori, if I'm correct. The one we purchased, it's a 5.5 litre smart air fryer. The 5.5 means the capacity of the air fryer. So that means you'd fit in up to a small chicken, I suppose. It fit in 4 or 5 servings of chips, that kind of size, So yeah, it's a great device, and it's about, well, the size of it is about half the size of a microwave, just a tiny bit taller, but half the width of most microwaves, and it's sitting here on my counter.
Okay, so let's go back to the very beginning, because as you know, it's a very good place to start, Joe. What was it like when you took it out of the box? What was the kind of first impression? What did it actually require in terms of setup?
Yeah, well, I took it out of the box, and I was worried did it have a European plug on it, but I had a normal, an Irish-English plug on it, so that was fine, and I plugged it in. But then I realised I had a touch screen. So touchscreen, I read up first that I actually knew it had a touchscreen, but I was wondering how will I access this. So I did need sighted assistance to set it up, because there's a Wi-Fi button you have to press. I suppose I could have used Be My Eyes, but I had some assistants with me at the time, which I was lucky. You have to press the Wi-Fi button. Once you have it in Wi-Fi mode, you download the VSync app. I think it's just VSync, SYNC, something like VSync. You get that in the App Store, iOS or Android, and then you have to sign up. The sign up process is really easy. It's just an email and a password and your name and phone number, as far as I remember. So the sign up was just as easy as any other app, and then you set it up like most other. After you press the Wi-Fi button on the touchscreen itself, you set it up like most other smart devices. You have to link the Wi-Fi to the device and link the Wi-Fi to your phone, and then they both link together, and you give your air fryer a name. So I just called mine Cosori Smart Air Fryer. It was something similar to the name it had already, but I took out the extra digits just in case I could connect it to a smart speaker, which didn't happen. But yeah, so the app itself, after the connection was successful, the app itself worked very well. But saying that, just before I move on to that, it was a little bit difficult to set up, because the name of the actual air fryer didn't appear in the list. There was a list of 5 or 6 other Cosoris, but then I had to type in a search box the exact name that was on the box. So if you aren't able to read that, you would also need a little hand with that and set up. So it's good to have assistance, if possible, to set this up when you're starting off.
And now that you have it, I guess, in a set-up state, how accessible is it? Do you need sighted assistance with anything with it day to day, or is it fairly accessible kind of once it's set up for the first time?
No, once it's set up for the first time, personally, I don't need any sighted assistance. And once I discovered the actual way the air fryer works and stuff like that, I was fine. So basically, it's, as I said, it's like a tall square box with a drawer down the bottom. So the drawer at the bottom, you have to push a button forward and then pull it out like that. And that's me pulling out the drawer. and then you push it back in, and when you hear it clicking, it's locked again.
When you're in the app, then what options do you have once it's set up?
Yeah, so will I open up the app and see, can we hear anything through my headset? If you can't hear it, just let me know and we'll...
Yeah, let's give it a go.
Page 7 of 7.
Like,
adjustable.
so I have it on the 7th page of my phone, so I'm going to flick left and see, can I find the app?
Good maps outdoors. Missing.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to flick right now. I'm in the app, so I'm going to flick right onto here, Kasori Air Fryer.
Inbox 13 and add devices. Device. My devices. Kitchen. Manage. Kasori Smart Air Fryer. Back. Button.
Now, once you enter on the Kasori Air Fryer, you might have heard that me double tapping into it. It actually has a list of recipes, which I don't really use, but I've read a few of them, and they're basic enough. They're more 4 or 5 step recipes, and then you get instructions of how to what to do with the air fryer, and you have a start cooking button. But usually,
you're saying you're beyond those basic recipes there, Joe?
I'm way beyond that now at this stage, David. No, I wish. No, but really, I'm very basic chef, so I keep it simple. Chips, steak, part baked bread, that kind of stuff I do in this.
What's your Michelin star item now, Joe, for your new air fryer?
Well, yeah, so when you're vision impaired, I suppose doing sausages and rashers and pudding, stuff like that is very difficult on a frying pan. So that's my Michelin star, the breakfast, I suppose.
Fair enough.
Awesome. Full Irish. So they come out really well in an air fryer, I find. Sometimes even better than they would on a pan. So you don't have to. That's another thing about having air fryers. To me, I find them a very safe device. I'm not giving, we'll say, health and safety advice here, but compared to frying, it's a lot safer. You can put the stuff in the drawer. I'll call it a basket or a drawer, and then you shove it in and start cooking. So I'll just give an example of how to start the device up. So down the bottom right, I'll read some of the headings of the actual recipes that are available. Then I'll move to the bottom right where the start cooking button is.
Bacon wrapped stuffed gelatinous. Prosciutto wrapped asparagus. Bacon wrapped shrimp. Appetizers. Breakfast. Ginger blueberry scones. Baked potted egg. Button.
So there's some of the examples of the recipes that they give you. But now I'm going to move to the right and see, can I find the start cooking button?
Strawberry cream scone. Start cooking. Button.
Start cooking button. And I'm going to double tap on that.
Start cooking. Back. Button. 15 minutes. Picker item. Adjustable.
Now, so you see here we have different options like the time, so 15 minutes.
175 degrees C. Picker item. Adjustable.
Is our temperature.
Time.
And I'm going to go up here and see what kind of options I have for the basic foods like, we'll say seafood and steak and things like that.
Temperature. Preheat. French fries. Button. Desserts. Frozen food.
So we'll go
bread.
down to French fries.
French fries.
I'm going to double tap there.
Selected. French fries.
And then all I have to do now is start cooking. We'll see what kind of temperature and time they recommend.
Preheat. Switch button. Temperature. Time. 195 degrees C. Picker. 25 minutes. Picker item. Adjustable. 25 of 60.
If I wanted to go a little bit longer or shorter, I'd have to flick up and down with one finger. That's how I change these settings.
And does that, I was going to ask there, does that changes in increments of 1 minute then, does it?
That's right, exactly. So I can go back down. We'll say I'll just put it back down to 25.
25 minutes. 25 of 60.
And same with the temperature.
200 degrees C. 26 of 27.
That went in increments of 5 degrees. So I'm going to flick to the right so you can find the start cooking button now.
25 minutes. Cook now. Button.
Cook now, it's actually called. So I'm going to double tap there. And I'll go beside the air fryer and see will you hear it coming on.
Button.
Now you may or may not hear that coming on, but it sounds like a fan. A fairly loud fan coming on.
We can kind of hear that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's it coming on. And then if you pull the drawer out, at any stage, the air fryer will stop and you can give your chips or fries a shake and then you can just push it back in and it'll start again. And that's it. You wait your 20-25 minutes and your French fries are done. This one is probably for homemade French fries, but the ones you buy the skinny ones you buy in the shop, they only actually take 10 minutes. You kind of learn these things from experience. So
yeah,
that's an idea of.
And does it give you a beep when it's done, Joe, to indicate that it's done or let you know?
Actually, that's another good question. You actually get a notification on your phone. It says V-Sync it sends you a notification. It says your food is ready. Enjoy. A little notification, which is nice. So
Oh, that's nice.
So that pops up as well as a kind of a beep from the device itself.
Okay, good to know. So you enjoy it, like, yeah?
I enjoy it. Yeah, I actually really think it's a great. It's a great device in the kitchen, and it's kind of replaced my oven, really. So I don't use the oven as much, and I suppose that's the whole point of people getting one of these devices is to save money, and I suppose it cooks food better because it's like it's a small convection oven.
And there we go. As I say, I'm holding out on getting the air fryer at the moment. I've got my eye on that talking one, or my ear on that talking one, I should say. But a really cool product, and as Joe showed off there, really, really accessible, which is great to see. It's good to have these appliances accessible, and cool to see a bit of smart tech, because hey, we all love smart tech. No harm in that. Another massive product that was taking the world by storm in many respects in 2023 was the Hable One, a really cool Braille keyboard. JP, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Hable One?
Sure thing. So the Hable One, David, is a portable Braille keyboard, essentially. And it can be paired with either a smartphone or a tablet device. So essentially, it's a Braille input device is what it is. It has 6 Braille buttons and 2 function keys. And it could be used for typing, for example, with VoiceOver or TalkBack on your phone or tablet. In terms of who it's for, the Hable is essentially a great device for someone who's looking to learn Braille. So if you're looking to learn Braille and you're looking to get involved and use some of the Braille devices, the Hable could be perfect for you. So it's perfect for example, controlling your essentially your phone or your tablet. And particularly if you have any difficulty using gestures, like VoiceOver gestures on your iPhone or TalkBack gestures on your Android phone. I showed it to a service user about 3 weeks ago, and this particular service user had a vision impairment, but they also actually were hard of hearing. And by the end of the session, now I will have to link in Mairead here. Mairead is on our Braille team. I called Mairead during this particular appointment, and with a bit of work between the three of us, this particular service user was able to then start using the Hable One to send WhatsApp messages on their iPhone, and they were really, really impressed by it. I believe price-wise, you're looking at about £240 sterling.
Yeah.
And if you buy it, I believe it comes with a USB-C charging cable.
Yeah.
It has a lanyard wrist strap and some kind of like how-to instruction guides on how to use it.
Yeah.
So,
I think they're in and around the
David,
300...
any interest in the Hable One, or have you come across anyone using this before yourself?
Yeah, do you know, I think they're around 300 on the Vision Ireland shop, 300, between 300 and 350, I think, on the Vision Ireland online shop. And the reason I know that, JP, is because, and I can say this now because this will be coming out after Christmas, but I got it for the mam for Christmas this year.
Oh, wow.
Because, like you said, and I think it's a really important point there, some people struggle with the gestures.
The gestures.
The phone. Like, mam loves the Apple Watch because it's a small screen real estate. She can fly around VoiceOver there, no bother, and she can use Crown Navigation, which is a VoiceOver feature for Apple Watch. Yeah. But that doesn't exist on the phone. So having tactile buttons that you can control your iPhone with effectively, wirelessly. And if you know Braille, which she does, it's a bonus because you can quickly type a message or whatever, and it means you don't have to rely on that dictation, which is after getting fairly decent. I mean, it's rare dictation makes a mistake now, but it's still always handy to be sure that, okay, I typed it in Braille, I know it's correct, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Excellent. I'd be interested to hear, David, as well, like how she gets on, and how about her level of Braille for someone who would be, say, relatively new to Braille. I know we work with quite a number of service users here, Vision Ireland, who are kind of learning Braille, so they're kind of new in the journey to get into grips with uncontracted Braille. Be interested to see how she gets on, or what her feedback would be.
I'm really, interested to see, because like, Mam is never going to listen to talking technology. Tech isn't her thing necessarily. She won't take to new technology necessarily, that quickly, which is totally fine. Some people are like that. So it's one of these things. I'm really curious to see how she gets on with it. She's been doing Braille for years, but it's never been, you're not constantly typing it day to day. For things like Braille cards and things like that. Now, every so often, but never day to day. So it's going to be really interesting to see how she finds it, and we'll have to report back. I don't think I'll ever get my mom on the Talking Technology podcast.
No.
Yeah.
No, you might have to be the intermediary to see how
I
how
think
she gets
I might
on.
do,
Yeah.
JP. She would absolutely kill me before she would ever come on Talking Technology. But there you go.
Very good.
Yeah, but we did talk about Talking Technology, or we did talk about the Hable, I should say, on a recent Braille episode of Talking Technology. So here's what happened when we caught up with the folks to tell us all about the Hable.
Derry, I'll start with yourself. What was your first experience like with the Hable? How did you find it?
Well, firstly, I was surprised to see how small the device was and how light it was. It's a great surprise to me, I must say, and it is kind of configured differently. So I've been using a Perkins style input since the 70s. So this is sort of a new way of learning it. But once I got my head around it, I couldn't believe how easy it was to use, and especially on the iPhone for texting, using Mastodon and Twitter. If I wanted to send a tweet, I'd often say, I'll wait till I'm on the computer to that, because I wasn't great. I can use the phone great, but I can't. My typing was much slower. But with the Hable, off the text went in 5 seconds. It was really good. So I love using the Hable. Use it every single day. It's a brilliant device.
Oh, fantastic. And then, so you mentioned that it's a bit smaller than what you were expecting. How does it differ from the Perkins style layout?
Yeah, it's very different. So you've got your 6 dots in a vertical line, like a dice, I suppose. There's 6 dots. Your dots 1, 2, 3, and opposite that, your dots 4, 5, 6. So away from you, going from your index finger, below that is dot 2, below that is dot 3, and it's really different. It's really, and you, like in Perkins style, they're long from left to right. These are from, well, the two rows of dots beside you, but they're facing away from you, so you're typing towards yourself. And then there's a dot 7 and 8 for navigation, and they're to the left of dots 1, 2, 3, and 8 is to the right of dots 4, 5, 6. So it's kind of really threw me off when I first saw it, but after about, I'd say, 5 or 6 days, it just clicked. It was brilliant, so you can get around you can double tap, you can go into your item, your navigation, you go into your rota and braille away to your heart's content. It's brilliant.
That's fantastic. So then you found kind of that after the kind of 4 or 5 days, you settled into it. And then how did you find yourself using it? What were you using it for?
Primarily for sending text messages on Twitter, on Mastodon, but after a little while, even creating a playlist on Apple Music or Spotify, going around Dice World, playing a few games, and I'm using it more and more, even just for navigating around, going from page to page on my iPhone. I found that, I can always use the iPhone very well, but just the texting, but I'm using it for more and more for navigating around the iPhone as well. So it's brilliant. It's a great device, and it's always connected. Also, when I be on a bus going to work, my iPhone's in my pocket, and I put my AirPods in, and I can unlock my phone, and without taking my phone, I just take the keyboard out and text away, and it's great. Nobody sees the phone.
What was the battery life like in the device, and how did you find it?
I got this on the 15th of March, and I charged it up then, and I haven't charged it since.
That's amazing.
It's incredible.
It's still going.
Yeah, it's still. I don't know how long it takes for the battery to go down, but it's an incredible device. It's so small and so light. When you hold it, you won't notice in your short pocket. It's so light, and the battery is fantastic.
And that's amazing. And like, do you find yourself using it every day then?
Every single day, even just when you were talking there, I sent a quick email off to Lena just about the braille on the pharmacy stuff, and I just used it there, just a few seconds ago.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. Fair play. And Is there anything you'd like to change with the device? Is there anything like that you think it could be improved in any way?
I don't think so. I think they've done a lot of improvement. You can update your phone. You can update the firmware on the Hable using the app. I don't think so. I think it's a great device. No, I don't think they could, unless they bring a microphone into, so you don't have to use your phone. But I think that's asking for too much. It's a great device.
Oh, well, you never know. You never know.
A really interesting product is the Hable, and yeah, I will have to report back next year once I find out how my mum gets on. I hope she doesn't hate it, because it's not the most expensive Braille product as Braille products go, but hey, they're not cheap either. They can be pricey enough, yokes, unfortunately, especially, without a Braille display. But who knows? We'll see how we go. On other fronts, another big story this year, and I guess it started at the end of 2022, was the whole fiasco that was Microsoft Soundscape shutting down, and then it was replaced by Voice Vista and Soundscape Community and Soundscape from the Scottish Tech Army. There were so many really interesting Soundscape news pieces this year that it was a recurring theme for quite a while. But eventually, in August, Soundscape Community launched. It was a partnership between Vision Ireland's Possibility Lab and a number of others. Joe, were you a big user of the Soundscape app?
Yeah, David, I was, I wouldn't say a big user, but I used it every now and again. And I thought when I did use it, before Microsoft decided to end the research project, I really loved using it. I thought it was great. So I was delighted when Vision Ireland decided to take over and redevelop the app.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's one of these things where you mightn't use it every day. I certainly don't use it every day. But those little things, when those little moments when you do need it and you just get a bit stuck, that's when it's really handy. Like, I need to get to Cork City Library. I don't know, am I heading in the right general direction? That's when stuff like Soundscape and Soundscape Community is brilliant. It really, really is.
Yeah.
And it's great as well that it uses the exact same interface as the old Microsoft edition. How important do you think that is, Joe, that it's got that consistency to it?
Yeah, it's always great to have something familiar, especially for someone vision impaired or blind that is used to using the same setup. I think it's good just to be able to open the app and know where to touch and have a rough idea how many flicks it takes to get to a certain destination on the app. But my main use of it would be as a point of interest finder. So if I'm in a busy built-up area, or I go into town, into Kilkenny or into Dublin City sometimes, I usually turn it on and just listen to hear what I'm passing by. So at least I know what's in my left ear as I pass on my left, and then when I'm passing buildings on my right, I'll hear what's on my right. And I just find that a great reassurance of where I am at any particular time.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think we've spoken about this before, that we use Soundscape in very different ways, because I would use the beacons functionality quite a bit to guide me to somewhere like a general location. Like I've used it to get to a subway before that I didn't know where it was and stuff like that. So it's really versatile in what it does.
It is, because I rarely use the beacon, David. If I wanted directions or something, I might switch to Apple Maps, where I just use Soundscape for my points of interest. So as you said, it's different strokes, different folks, isn't it?
Absolutely, 100%. And the experts on Soundscape, we had them on, the team behind it. We had Jarnell and Aoife join us earlier on in the year to tell us all about the launch of Soundscape and what it took to make all that happen. So here's what happened when we caught up with Jarnell and Aoife earlier this year. Do you remember this?
Welcome to Soundscape, lighting up your way with sound in 3D.
Microsoft Soundscape. Wow, it feels like so long ago now since I heard for the first time that cool little tutorial sound and that tutorial when you used to open Microsoft Soundscape. But in an NCBI Labs live event on the 4th of August 2021, Microsoft announced that their Soundscape app, which was designed to help visually impaired people navigate the world, really, was going to be coming to Ireland. But just 495 days later, in a bid to try and get on to the Talking Technology Christmas special, Microsoft, well, they announced that they will be pulling the plug. But it wasn't all bad news, because if you listened to that podcast when we discussed this before, you'll remember that Microsoft made the code for Soundscape open source, which meant that developers, if they wanted, could take what Microsoft had built for Soundscape and turn it into something new. And that's what we're here to talk about today. We are here to talk about all things Soundscape Community, which is a really cool new project. And to tell us all about it, we're joined on Talking Technology by Aoife and Jarnell. Hello and welcome, folks. How are we?
Hi, David. Aoife here. Thanks very much for inviting us on.
Thank you very much for joining us. So, Aoife, we'll start with you. I guess, first of all, what is Soundscape Community?
Okay, well, David, I might start with just explaining a little bit about the Soundscape app itself. Sure. I know lots of people are already familiar with it, but just for those who don't know what it is, it's basically an app that provides a 3D spatial audio information on your surroundings. So it works straight out of the box. When you download it onto your phone, all you have to do is enable your location. And if you're using headphones, you'll have to switch on your Bluetooth and connect that. But basically, what it does is call out locations of interest or points of interest as you are walking through any location. So, David, you and I are in Cork, so we might focus on Patrick Street here in Cork, which is the main street. Yep. If you were walking down Patrick Street, for example, it would call out Brown Thomas or Penny's or a Starbucks or any of the points of interest that you were passing. The beauty, really, of the 3D audio is that if you're wearing stereo headphones, the location, if you're passing Brown Thomas on your left-hand side, it tells you on your left-hand side through your left ear that that's where Brown Thomas is. If Penny's is on your right, it comes in through your right ear. So you know exactly where all of those locations are relative to the direction that you're pointing in.
Yeah, it's really cool and a really great design of a system. And that, I guess, was what people will be familiar with from the traditional Microsoft Soundscape. But that is nearing the end of its life now. It's shutting down at the end of this month, I believe. But as we were saying, the code for this was open source. So that kind of brings us on nicely, I guess, to Soundscape Community. So what happened here? Do you want to tell us a little bit about how Microsoft Soundscape led to Soundscape Community? And do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
With respect to the community, so once Microsoft took the decision to open source and then sunset what was Microsoft Soundscape, and of course there were sort of implications for the various team members involved with that. And I guess formally officially left Microsoft in middle of February earlier this year. But of course, one of the things I was really, really keen to do was to make sure that all the work and all the effort that we'd put into this over the last 10 years, that once the code had been open source, that we somehow found an opportunity of trying to revive it, because we knew that Microsoft was going to continue to provide access to the service for a limited number of months. And one of the things that ended up doing was to reach out to a number of close partners and collaborators that we've developed really strong relationships with over the past few years, and just ask that very simple question: would you be willing to spend some time, put in some effort to see if we can find a way of keeping this going? And actually, NCBI and Chantal Smith, who you may remember from the launch, was probably, I think, the first person I reached out to. And the response from NCBI and IA Labs has been absolutely fantastic in terms of involvement, support, advocacy, advice, guidance. And that in turn, I think, has really helped a whole host of other partners as well to get on board. So we're working with ONCE in Spain, which of course is a massive pan-disability focused organization in Spain. We're working with a number of technology vendors in France that we've been working with, a design company in the US called Pixel Space. And another really very strong partner has been Capital Region Nordic Alliance in the US, which focuses on adaptive sports experiences. So these organizations, along with actually former members of the Soundscape team like myself, Amos, Stephen and Fraser from the test team, we've all been clubbing our thoughts, our efforts, our expertise over the last few months. And we were then also joined by the Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in the US and their open source program. And one of the key individuals there, Sheldon Jackson, who are graduating, set up his own company to be a part of this consortium. And we've been sort of working together to find a way of keeping this going.
So
and,
what so what did that lead to then? So there's lots of partners involved, and I guess this isn't a project obviously that happens overnight. This is a massive project. You mentioned there that Soundscape was a project that you were working on and colleagues in Microsoft were working on for like 10 years. So what has this led to, and where are we at now?
So, Anifa, please jump in. What this led to, as you can imagine, for all of the organizations and partners involved, to a large extent, this has been a labor of love, because it was in nobody's thinking 6-7 months ago that they'd be involved in working together to get Soundscape back out into the market again. And so initially over the last, in the early months, a lot of it was really spending time with each other, getting to know each other, the different members of the consortium, understanding their capabilities, their motivations, and what each would bring. So that took a little bit of time. And then, of course, we actually started the development and design work along with producing a website and so on. And because all of these organizations were doing this almost as a volunteer effort, we were slowly building that rapport and that relationship and building that momentum. And we got it to the point, I think, in sort of early May that we had a very early version up and running that looked and felt very much like the old Microsoft Soundscape.
Yep.
Then, of course, we had to think about how do we do this at scale. And around this time, we also came across, and some of you may have heard of OpenScape as well, which was, it turned out, a separate open source initiative, once again, designed to revive Soundscape. And so we reached out to them, and over the last couple of months, have actually spent a lot of time getting to know each other. We discovered that our goals, that our objectives aligned really well. And in particular, I guess over the latter part of June and most of July, we've actually spent a lot of time integrating our separate efforts into one app. And one of the things that we wanted to do was to try and avoid that situation of having multiple versions of Soundscape out there. So hopefully through, I guess, what we're calling Soundscape Community, we'll be in a position to announce something exciting in the very near future.
And where did the name Soundscape Community come from?
That's an interesting question, David. So Soundscape I suppose by definition, is a sound or a combination of sounds in any given area. And that's exactly what the Soundscape app is. It paints a picture of a landscape in sound. So we added community because that's exactly who came together to develop it, following on from Microsoft's releasing it onto the open source. So as Jarnail went through the members of the consortium there, it literally is a community of co-founders, of app developers, of experts in adaptive sports, of people with vision impairment, tech experts, O&M experts, all coming together as a community. So I suppose that's how we landed on the name.
That's really cool. It really is a community, and lots of work by lots of different individuals. And I guess it encompasses the visually impaired and blind community too, in a way, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, yeah. It has taken comments and feedback from anybody who has tried it. The beta version has gone out to be tested on people who were experienced in using Microsoft Soundscape, and any comments and feedback is welcome.
So, go ahead, John.
Yes. Okay. Just to add to that, I think being part of this, I guess, open source community, once we sort of are a little bit further down the road, one thing that I think we're really keen to encourage through this community component is people who may be interested in technology development or application design is to sort of join the community, because there's so much expertise and experience in the community, and people willing to help either learn new technologies or grow existing skills. And we're hoping that over time, this will also be an area, a community where people will be able to learn and collaborate perhaps on different parts of Soundscape.
It's a great way to get technology experience too, isn't it? You know, like people can find their feet with whether it's coding, design. There's so much to Soundscape, isn't there?
Absolutely, and I think this is one of the massive benefits of this open source opportunity, because obviously while at Microsoft this would have been really, really quite difficult to do.
Yeah.
But by being an open source project, it, I think, opens up all sorts of new avenues to encourage and invite contributions and participation from folks all over the world.
And a reminder that if you want to download that Soundscape community app, you can do so on the App Store. Just go to the search tab and search for Soundscape Community. It is absolutely free, and it's a really handy tool to have in the toolbox. So go check it out. A really cool piece of kit. But another really cool app that I think it's fair to say has taken the blind and visually impaired community by storm this year since it was released is Be My AI. It's part of the Be My Eyes app. Daniel, do you want to tell us a little bit about Be My AI and the impact it's had? Because we've had things like OCR and very limited levels of image description before, but this takes that to a whole new level.
Absolutely, David. I suppose for me, this is probably, the biggest game changer of the year. To be quite honest, and there was lots of contenders for that, but the ability to be able to go in and we've all probably got used to seeing AI and Google Lookout and all that, and while they were quite good and they were experimenting with being able to do scene descriptions, you were limited to maybe 2 or 3 words or maybe a sentence that
there was a chair in front of you. Yeah, it was about. Yeah, it was
there's
basic.
A chair in front of you. That's as far as it got, and which was great. But now the world has moved on. AI is here, and to do the exact same scene, it doesn't have to be OCR. It can be just anything. Out the side of the road, out the fields, out the back of your house, wherever you take that photograph, and the description that you will get from Be My AI over what you got from Scene AI, Google Lookout, or Envision AI is absolutely streets ahead. Absolutely streets ahead. It goes into such detail describing colors, textures, patterns, whatever. you name it, it's in it, and the OCR is absolutely fantastic as well. I've tried it out, let's say, particularly where I found it useful. Maybe we're all aware, your local community might have maybe a weekly bulletin newsletter that goes out and inform people in the local area what's going on. And for, I suppose, some people in our community, particularly the elderly people in our community, they love that news. They love hearing what's going on. And, while the text detection apps such as CNAI or Google have done a decent job, and sometimes it mightn't have got the results you'd really want. The Be My AI does a fantastic job, and an absolutely fantastic job, and I'm very impressed. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's one of these really incredible bits of kit, and like even I've noticed things that have been a struggle before. Like I got a card during the year, and it had a handwritten message in it. And like to use something like Seeing AI or whatever, like not a hope would it manage that. And Be My AI just nailed it. Like it's absolutely incredible to see what it can do.
I wonder, David, just while you're speaking of handwriting, the prescriptions that we all get, and wonder how they would work.
Yeah, and probably decently well. I'll be honest, it's very rarely disappointed me.
Right.
In many respects, and that's kind of cool to be able to say. Like you mentioned there, that it was probably one of the biggest advancements in assistive technology this year.
Yes.
I'd go as far as to say that it's probably one of the biggest leaps in technology for visually impaired people, probably since something like VoiceOver came along. I genuinely think it's that big.
Yeah.
And it's something I'm now using absolutely daily. And I did not see that a year ago. Do you know what I mean? I think that's really, really cool.
It was one of those things that just kind of come out of nowhere. Nearly, like ChatGPT, bang, that happened, and next thing, boom, on comes Be My AI, very, hot in its heels.
Yeah, and you've got to give them credit for being so quick off the mark with it, don't you? It's really incredible.
Absolutely, and hats off to them. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic.
It really is. Joe, I'll come to you. Be My AI obviously can take pictures, or I guess it can do pictures, it can do documents, it can do all of these different things. But it's also able to provide support. And one of the big ones it's been providing support with, at least in Ireland, is Microsoft. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how AI is now being used to support visually impaired and blind people with these different companies? How is Be My AI working in that role?
Yeah, Be My AI have connected with Microsoft, and it's a really great connection because Microsoft have built it into their help desk on Be My Eyes. So you have to go to get support, go to technical, and then go to Microsoft. And then you have two choices in there. You have Be My AI with Microsoft, or just call Microsoft Call Agent, Help Desk Call Agent. But if you choose Be My AI, then you can send a picture of your laptop, which could be doing updates, or it could be just totally frozen, or anything could be wrong with it. And Be My AI will make an effort to come back with the correct answer, and it usually does. And it'll also recognize if you try and caught it, David, and send a picture of an iPad. So
yeah,
it only
we
works with
did
Microsoft,
that at a conference we were at recently. We were at a tech conference here in Vision Ireland, and we were playing around with it. And we took a picture of an iPad, and it was like, what, are you trying to run a Microsoft product on it? It was kind of interesting to see how clever it is.
It's very clever. So, yeah, and also another thing I find it's really good for is finding out keystrokes or asking general information about Microsoft products. So keystrokes especially, so if you ask it about, as I give a recent example in one of our Take on Tap newsletters, of how to access the font menu, and it gives really detailed description and numbers them 1 to 5 or 1 to 6, whatever it was, in little steps of how to get in with keystrokes. So press Control D, and then it said use your arrow keys to go up and down to the different fonts, that kind of thing. So if any complicated keystrokes and you can't remember them, it's always a good thing to have that Be My AI service from Microsoft beside you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Microsoft isn't the only company. They're one of the main ones in Ireland, but there are other companies doing really cool stuff around the world. JP, do you want to tell us just about some of the partnerships that Be My AI now has internationally that maybe we can look forward to in Ireland in years to come?
Sure, David. Yeah, it's interesting how Microsoft isn't the only company that has partnered up with Be My Eyes and Be My AI. So if you go on to the Be My Eyes website, we can actually see a statement from them to say that Be My Eyes, Be My AI promises not only offer better support to blind and low vision communities to their app, but we also believe it will offer a way for businesses to better serve their customers by prioritizing accessibility. So Joe was discussing there with Microsoft what they are doing, but there are other companies such as Sony and Procter & Gamble. There's the Hilton Hotel Group, and it's also the NFB, the National Federation for the Blind over in the States. So, yeah, granted, some of these companies are going to be based, and organizations are based internationally elsewhere, but what we're seeing, though, is more and more companies being added to that partnership with Be My Eyes, which is very, very promising, offers huge potential, I think, going forward with Be My AI.
Absolutely. I think that one, like the Hilton hotels, that's massive because I think
huge.
Many like visually impaired and blind people would be able to relate to the fact of you go into a hotel and you're just like, oh my God, what is this layout? It can be a bit daunting because you don't want to like knock over some fancy glass ornament or something that ends up costing a fortune.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really handy little tool just to get even things like a layout of a room and stuff. I think that's brilliant.
Absolutely. And who knows, David, wouldn't it be fantastic if other hotel groups followed suit?
It would. I'd love to see all sorts of companies follow suit. Like there are a lot of like telecoms companies and stuff like that. We have, obviously there's a partnership with Sky here in Ireland, but I don't think that has integrated with the Be My AI function yet, but there's no reason why they couldn't, you know? So I think that's a really exciting opportunity down the road to see all of these companies on Be My AI. It provides a really cool level of support, which would be fantastic to see, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's really exciting to see. Yeah,
absolutely. So we did catch up with the team behind Be My AI earlier on in the year. So here's what happened when we caught up with them to talk about the launch of the product and a few controversies around faces. Yes, they've got over that now, thank goodness. But here's what happened when we caught up with the team behind Be My Eyes and Be My AI. So joining me today on Talking Technology, I am joined by Hans from Be My Eyes. Hans, how are you?
I am absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
Fantastic. So it's been, I think it's fair to say, a busy time in Be My Eyes, Hans. You were only on the podcast not that long ago, but you've been a busy team over the last little while, and Be My AI has just launched. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how, I guess, the last, even 2 months have just been in Be My Eyes? It must have been a really busy time.
It has been extremely busy, and I think we have kind of accomplished more than we have ever accomplished in such a short time. So it has been, thanks to my team, we actually made it because it has been so much on their plate lately. So I'm super proud that they actually made it to this time. So that absolutely.
Fantastic. And so, Hans, for those who didn't maybe hear our previous podcast on the subject, do you want to briefly explain what Be My AI is?
Yes, Be My AI is a way where you can take a photo and the photo is automatically uploaded to OpenAI, and you will get a very detailed description back of the photo. And you can even ask further questions about details in the photo. And beside that, you can upload existing photos from your photo library and have them described, and also ask further questions about that. And that's the very short version of Be My AI.
For sure. Awesome. Yeah, it's really been, I must say, even personally, I found it like an incredible tool, even just to share, yes, photos from the photo library. But a little known feature that I found useful is that you can share PDF documents into it, and it seems to manage them. If they're one-page documents, it seems to be able to manage them just fine, and it's able to provide descriptions of the PDF document, and you're able to ask follow-up questions. It's really quite an incredible tool you've built, and I guess the reaction when you started testing it has been, I think it's fair to say, quite incredible in terms of people really see the use case for this. Was that something you expected?
Well, we knew that we were onto something, but I mean, we have had for months this first batch of beta testers, and they have just been so creative in ways of using this that we would never have come up with. But you mentioned the PDF, but also the one of the things that I've been super excited about is its ability to describe graphs. So if you have a graph of something in a textbook, you can take a photo, and then Be My AI will describe what the graph is all about and how it is progressing and all that. And you can ask details for further details about the graph. And that is something we have never been able to do before in a meaningful way. And to be honest, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, for sure.
And people keep coming up with new ways to use this. So that's just amazing. Mm-hmm.
Now, there's been a massive amount of positive reaction, as I say, to the Be My AI tool, but there was a small little hiccup along the way around faces, and it's fair to say that I think there was a little bit, I think, of upset for a time in the visually impaired and blind community for a little while there, because for whatever reason, whether it was coming from, say, OpenAI or Be My Eyes, faces were being blurred. And this is something we talked about, actually, on the last time you were on the podcast. But faces were being blurred, and I think in some cases it was rejecting images of faces outright. Do you want to tell me a little bit about what actually happened there? But ultimately it's been resolved now. So how was that resolved in the end?
Well, first of all, I'm glad you're saying a little, because it felt quite like a big thing, and it was.
For sure.
It was the whole feature was basically not functioning because I mean I'm blind and I have no idea if there is a face in the photo when I'm taking it, and that's just not workable. But we managed to make a solution. It's not a complete solution, and not a solution that I'm really proud of, because the whole issue is that in the state of Illinois there is a law that prohibit you to process pictures with faces to prevent you from making an app that can recognize people. We are not in any way recognizing people or identifying people, but we try to describe if they are sad or happy or whatever.
Yeah.
And that should be absolutely okay. But because of this old law, we had to kind of make a fence around the state of Illinois.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Which means the rest of the world can use this, but if you live in Illinois, you will still not be able to use Be My AI. Then you can say, well, there's not that many people in Illinois, but if you live in Illinois,
that's fairly frustrating for sure.
That's not a really good thing. So that's why I'm not super proud of this solution, but this was kind of the best we could do right now, and now we are, which is something that I have never thought I should be engaged in, but we are actually trying to prevent or persuade the politicians in Illinois to kind of look into to this. I'm sure unexpected consequence. I mean, this law is 10 or 15 years old, so they have never thought about OpenAI or all of this. And just to be clear, I would not want anybody to be able to take a picture of me and identify me on the street or anything. So we are absolutely also, we don't want them to change the law to allow everything to be done with your face out in the public. But we don't think it's fair that the blind people cannot get the same information that everybody else can kind of get from looking at a photo. So,
That's interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting solution and a frustrating problem. You mentioned there, that it felt like a big thing. Was it? I guess was it disappointing for you to see the project that had been so successful, I guess, in many respects up to this point. It kind of took a bit of heat there for a while. And also, what was your experience like working through this challenge with OpenAI? Because I guess this is one of the bigger challenges that you faced, I guess, in the first phase of this project.
Yes. And maybe we were a little, but we felt that we were in a good place so we could add more people to the beta test. It is still a beta where you can expect kind of all kinds of changes and hiccups and so on. But we had at that time added, I think, 10,000 users. And basically to kind of scale up the test and see if it could kind of handle all the requests and all that, because we felt we were in a good place. And then, but I also totally understand OpenAI. I mean, they have been taking so much heat for all kind of things that they are doing and maybe not even doing, but they could potentially do with this technology and all that. So, of course, they are super, super careful about not breaking any laws. And that's exactly what they felt that, we have to kind of pull the handbrake a little here. Until our lawyers are totally on top of this. And that simply took a couple of weeks before they were comfortable doing what we're doing now. So
okay, fair enough. On a more positive note then, I guess Be My AI is rolling out now, or is pretty much there. It's really a really solid feature, and I'd recommend to anyone who hasn't tried it, give it a try now. You mentioned that it's still in beta pretty much, but what's the future looking like for this concept? Have you looked at things like, spinning it off into a separate standalone, even simpler app for those who, maybe younger users who might benefit for this? Are you looking at things like self-voicing? What's the future for something like Be My AI?
Well, first of all, we need to get the Android version up and running, which we are beta testing with a small group right now. And hopefully we can scale that up and have the beta version ready within a month or two. That is our main objective right now. And in this tech world that is moving so fast, so I basically think we will, when we have that ready, we will see where is the world at this point in time, and then, but hopefully we can do something. I have been very intrigued about Microsoft talking about their personal assistants, and I think this tool will be very, very helpful in a personal assistance world, and we will be looking into how we can position Be My Eyes in that process. But it's not something we're working on right now. But it's just a super interesting area.
For sure.
And also we are running a test with Microsoft on specialized help. So when you call them, you can also use Be My AI in that process, simply to help the agents get more information. So if you are on a website and you have some questions about that, you can snap a photo, and then the agent will also be able to kind of see that photo and get the same feedback, and maybe you can get the answer of what you are asking even without talking to one of the Microsoft agents. We believe there is a huge future for customer support doing this, and also for blind people. There will still be, and there will always be, agents to talk to if you don't like to use this other technology. But for a lot of people, this is kind of a fun thing, and maybe even a more productive thing to do. So
for sure. Have you seen much of an uptick in users using sighted agents since the Be My AI feature has rolled out?
Well, we believe we need to have this running for a few weeks or more to kind of get numbers that we can kind of rely. I mean, we all know when something is new and exciting, then I can do this, and then. But what we really want to know is, let's say, in a month's time, when it is more a daily thing and it's not so new and shiny anymore. Yeah. Then we will look at the numbers and see if my expectation is that more people will be using Be My Eye, simply because we have this new feature, and then they will realize that, it's really great for this, but I also need the volunteers once in a while. So we don't expect the volunteers to get less calls, maybe even the opposite, because more people will be using Be My Eyes in general, and then they will also be using the volunteers once in a while. And one of the things that I'm really, really excited about is that we can see that some of the people who are using Be My AI the most are some of the people that were using the volunteers the least. So we have clearly found something that makes a lot of people comfortable, because they were maybe not so comfortable using the volunteers, but they are super comfortable using Be My AI.
Yeah.
And I think this will kind of have an effect both ways on the uses of volunteers, because you simply are using the app Be My Eyes more, and you get more accustomed to the whole environment that we are providing. So.
Awesome. Fantastic. Yeah, I can certainly speak to that myself. I was, in all honesty, I didn't use the volunteer service all that much, but I've been certainly a heavy user of Be My AI. So that's certainly clear, which is awesome. I guess the final question then for now, Hans, and I'm sure we'll have more conversations about this as the technology develops. What and how can people learn more about Be My AI? Where are you directing people to now?
We are our website, bemyeyes.com. You can find all kinds of information and blog posts and so on. And of course, we are also on X and Facebook. But I think our website would be the main source for information. And then, of course, you're always welcome to send an email to info@BeMyEyes, and we will try to reply back. So,
Fantastic. Hans, thank you so much for joining us on Talking Technology once again. I think it's fair to say congratulations to you and the team. You really have built quite an incredible tool. And it's really exciting to see where it's going to go. So, congratulations and very best of luck for the future.
Thank you so much, and likewise.
What an amazing little product it is, Be My AI. I think that's really going to be an absolute game changer in years to come, and has already been a game changer. Probably, in my view, I would say one of the biggest advancements in assistive technology in quite a long time. So credit to the team there. An absolutely amazing project and very well done. But that is all of our main stories for 2023. But good to look ahead as well. We're only a few days away from 2024. Yes, the countdown is on to a brand new year. And we will go through some of the really cool things and what we're looking forward to. Daniel, if I can come to you first, what are you looking forward to in 2024?
Yeah, like a couple of weeks ago, we covered the latest version of Windows 11 that's coming out. I think there's after been a pause on that since we spoke about that a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, Microsoft came across a few issues and had to pause the rollout of the latest Windows 11. But I presume that's going to, come back very quickly. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Copilot in Windows 11 is going to do when it gets out and about and gets working. I suppose it's AI in a way coming to the desktop and laptop world, directly to your operating system. So that's going to be very interesting. As mentioned earlier, I suppose, we were saying, are Apple going to come on with something in the AI world? Will they bolt it into Siri? How good of a solution is Apple going to come out with? I think that's definitely one we're going to be scanning the headlines for over the coming 12 months. Anything else? Not that I can think of right now. There's probably loads, but nothing else pops into my head at the moment. I suppose these will be the early things to watch out for in 2024. Who knows where it'll all go? AI will probably just come out and surprise us again with something big, bold and wonderful again next year.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. Joe, if I can come to you, what's exciting you about the year 2024? Is there anything you're really excited about in the new year?
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see what Android are going to come out with. They've recently mentioned about AI stuff, so I think...
Actually, an interesting one there, Joe, sorry to cut across you. Google have their DeepMind, and I suppose there's a little interest from me from, the meteorology world is that they've developed an AI computer model to forecast out to 10, 14 days ahead, and out of all the computer models producing weather forecasts, it's been the most accurate. So that's definitely on Google. Have the power behind it. I suppose it'd be interesting to see can they translate that to the Android operating.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Google does, because I think they've been a little bit quiet in this space.
Yeah.
And of course, with Seeing AI and Be My AI now both on Android, Joe, that's also a big thing. And I know that's 2023, but do you think we'll see more of that in 2024?
I definitely think so. And I think even Google Lookout will get has got some major improvements, and I can see it getting better as well in 2024. And I also think mobility devices, I think we might hear some things being announced with mobility devices in 2024, whether they be smart canes or it could be more mobility apps. But I think AI yet has to venture into that space in a big way. So things might get transferred. Ideas can get transferred from self-driving cars and we'll say robot hoovers, and we'll never know what we might see in 2024 or even 2025. So I'd watch this space as regards mobility, especially for blind people.
Interesting one, absolutely. JP, if I come to you, what's exciting you about 2024? Anything? Are you really excited about anything cool?
I think AI is going to be on our radar, David, for sure, to echo the lads' comments there. I'm looking forward to our Braille episodes this year, and going to next year. We're going to be having our very own Brian Manning, back on, and he's going to be talking about his experience reading subtitles in Braille on his favourite TV shows on Netflix. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's on Tuesday 9th of January. And then looking forward to the product reviews as well. So we have so many products now that we're going to be reviewing and letting listeners know about the new year, such as smartphones, smart canes, smart wearables like the Vision Buddy. David, I know you were testing it out recently.
Absolutely.
So we had some feedback on that. and also new courses. I mean, so much talk about AI and machine learning. I'd love to have some courses for service users on, for example, using ChatGPT from OpenAI, or maybe Microsoft's new Copilot when that's officially launched and it's active.
Yep.
Also, really looking forward to next year is, as much as we can, really connecting with our listeners, and that's through our new email with the content at VI address, and also what will hopefully be coming soon is a new WhatsApp number. Isn't that right, David? So we're going to have a new WhatsApp number.
We're currently arguing with 3. I hope we'll conclude this by the end of the year. But we're trying to get a really good number for the podcast. So,
hopefully soon, we'll have a new WhatsApp number so people can leave in the voice notes, and that'll be fantastic. Think about opportunities there to, contact us and just share your stories, to be able to say, well, have other listeners had similar issues with this? And just as another form of communication.
And we get to try more technology through the perspectives of others as well, which is always brilliant.
Exactly. Yeah. So really looking forward to next year and what's to come.
Absolutely. And I guess from my point of view, I'm really excited, as all of you guys are, about the AI stuff. But also, I've been playing around, as you alluded to there, JP, with the Vision Buddy. It's like a virtual reality magnifier, and it's an interesting bit of kit. It's currently, I don't think it's a product that I need, but it's gotten me really excited for the potential of virtual reality. So things like Apple's Vision Pro and stuff. I'm actually really looking forward to stuff like that, because I think that integrated with things like Ira, like Be My Eyes, that's going to be a really interesting and cool time. So I'm excited about 2024. I think there's a lot to come. So that is it. That is it for this episode of Talking Technology, and that is it for this year. We will be back in 2024 on the 9th of January, as JP said. And we will be covering all things Braille on that episode, and we will be hopefully looking at all of the really cool technology that is yet to be announced in 2024. Who knows what kind of new things we'll see on the iPhones, Androids. We'll have Vision Pro out, new AI stuff. I'm sure it's going to be an exciting time, and we're really, really looking forward to it. So we hope you enjoyed the Christmas. Have a very happy new year from all of us here at VI Labs and Vision Ireland. And for now, from us, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting us over the last year as we've built up our new content offerings with Tech on Tap, the YouTube channel, VI Live, all of these different things that we've built out over the last year or so. Thank you so much for supporting them. So for now, stay listening. Thank you so much, and we will see you all in 2024.
Thanks for listening to the Talking Technology podcast with VI Labs. If you'd like to support our show, please visit vi.ie/donate. Talking Technology is proudly sponsored by IA Labs, the market leader in digital accessibility services. IA Labs, digital inclusion, your legal obligation.